I was the oldest out of 6. I never felt a part of my own family. I had my ear bitten off when I was 16 years old. I was on that never-ending cycle of going to prison, institutions, near-death experiences, and then I got invited on a 3-month backpacking holiday to Thailand. I boxed for England when I was a kid, and I wanted to box in Thailand. He said, don't get in the ring with these guys, they'll break your ribs. Well, I had 5 fights, literally every night. I was learning dirty fucking sports. You know, got loads of pain emotionally going on. Physically, I can take punches all day long, and it doesn't bother me, but I don't break out in lumps and bumps, I break out in handcuffs, prison sentences, pain, misery and loss. And that's what happened. I just jumped on a bike with another friend, fucked off to Burma and bought China White, pure heroin, and fuckers. And I got arrested for handling a stolen mobile phone. And this is what I was using like the phone for drug deals. I witnessed a murder within a week of being in a prison in Bangkok, and it was the most frightening experience. And the screams, every scream was fucking deep. You hear about this stuff, but you never actually, it's traumatic when you see it.
Then they pin you down, and then they pin another guy to the wall, and they rape him and make you watch it. I mean, how do you get over something like that?
I just buried my head with drugs to suppress any feeling, any thoughts. You couldn't invent or conjure it up in your worst nightmares, what you kind of witnessed and being subjected to.
This week on the True Geordie podcast.
Good, it looks good.
Are you taking a photo?
Yeah, just because I like to...
It lasts longer.
Yeah.
We've got Billy Moore on the show. Welcome, Billy, mate. Thanks for coming.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
Absolutely loved the movie about your life, and I was just like, we have to get this guy on. This is... I mean, I've never seen anything like what I was watching on A Prayer Before Dawn.
It's available on Amazon Prime.
Yeah.
I watched it on Amazon. You watched it on Sky. So it's readily available.
Well, it just hits you so quick and so hard, and like Lawrence is an expert in this sort of stuff, but it's shot so well. It looks amazing.
It's probably one of the most since like a Fight Club or something like that. It's one of the most intense fight movies I've ever seen.
Yeah.
Because a lot of films sort of like to. Obviously, we get you on review a film you're not in, but is based on you. But a lot of films, you don't feel like you're in it. You feel like you're watching a fight. In this film, you could feel every punch, everything. Wasn't it? It was amazing.
Yeah, the director's quite clever in that area.
Yeah. What was it like for you to watch it back or to be part of the process? Because it must have been a bit unusual to watch someone telling your story.
Yeah, well, the first time I watched it was in Cannes Film Festival in 2017.
Really?
And that was... I felt really out of place in a tuxedo on a red carpet, definitely. But when we went into the cinema, it was massive. It was like the biggest cinema in Europe with 2,500 people in there, all dressed, in tuxedos and suits and really smart. And, next thing, this movie comes on the screen with the young actor playing, Joe Cole playing myself. And, for 2 hours, I thought, personally, because I'd experienced it and I knew what was coming, I started thinking that the audience were going to get really fed up, you know what I mean? Because I'd kind of been around that road. But at the end of it, they all stood up and it was like an 8.5 minute,
standing ovation.
Yeah, it was a standing ovation for 8.5 minutes. And I said to James Seamus from Meriden, he was the guy who financed the movie. I said, is this normal? He went, look, we're in France. These are the harshest critics you'll ever come across. If they didn't like it, they'd boo you whether they were here or not. They love it. And then the reviews the next day, because that's what you get, don't you? You get reviews straight away from all the national newspapers, and they were all 5 stars, and it was like, wow. It was quite powerful, but to watch it, it freaked me out. It really did, because it brought everything to the surface.
Oh, yeah.
The reality of it. Because he had a big part to play in the script, and I wanted it to be as authentic and as transparent, as possible. I didn't want it to be made up or dramatised. And we worked alongside Jonathan Erskine, who wrote the script. And kind of when it came to fruition, it was just perfect in that way.
I was wondering, as obviously and knowing I was going to meet you in person, how close it was to the reality, and the fact that you're saying it brought back so many memories. Obviously, it was. For me, what I loved about the movie is it didn't oversell things. I've been through some traumatic things, and you think of how you would recreate those things, and naturally people do, like Wolf of Wall Street, no doubt is hugely egged up. But,
it's embellished, yeah.
But with this guy, this character played by Joe Cole, he doesn't overdo it. He's not explaining what he's thinking the whole time.
No.
It gives the audience credit. You're intelligent enough to get what's going on here.
Yeah.
You don't need all the backstory. You can weigh it up as it's going on, and that's very unusual, I think, because people just. I mean, The Rock's the biggest movie star. Everything's dumbed down, isn't it? You don't really basically challenge the audience to get it without needing everything laid out for them.
Also, a lot of the telling comes through how visceral it is, like how intense the whole thing is, how it's shot. You actually feel like you're part of it. Which normally you're watching something. With this, it felt like you're actually experiencing it. It must have been really weird for you having gone through it and like not having like a PTSR or a PTSD sort of thing, but bringing those memories back must have been.
I'm from Liverpool. We don't get PTSD.
Yeah.
No, we certainly do. Especially
I wouldn't care. I've had a Liverpool soldier on the show before, and he was hard as nails as well.
Yeah.
It's just like it's kind of like the environment you're brought up in, and I think I was quite lucky, in a sense, and unlucky in a way, to be brought up, in Liverpool. And
Which part of Liverpool did you grow up in?
In the South End, with Waversley, so Soxcliffe, Waversley on the border. It was quite difficult. So I always felt separate, different and alone growing up. I was the oldest out of 6, and it was like I never felt a part of my own family, which was strange. I always felt like I was an observer, and people had been knocking at the door for me brothers and my sisters, and I couldn't understand it. I couldn't put a finger on it growing up, feeling really isolated. And I think I took that into every relationship I ever I just drifted in and out of toxic relationships throughout my life. It was like, this is why I found myself in these unsavoury places.
Were you much of a ladies' man growing up, or were you a bit more?
No, definitely not. No, I had my ear bitten off when I was 16 years old, over a box of Easter eggs.
Wow.
This is it. This is the.
What kind of Easter eggs?
They were like Cadbury's.
They must have been good.
Sammy worth it. I was just trying to work out whether it was worth it or not.
Do you know what? It wasn't even about the Easter eggs. It was just the principle. But it was like
by who?
By a guy who's passed away now. He was a young kid. He was just kind of demanded the stuff that we'd stolen out of his car years ago, and we said, no, let's share it fairly.
Yeah.
And he didn't want to do it that way, and it just ended up me standing up for myself, and everyone backing down, and unfortunately, we got me in a corner and my ear got bit off. So I wasn't a ladies' man by any stretch of the
question about the ear getting bitten off naturally. Obviously, it's painful, but can you remember exactly what that felt like?
Yeah, I remember exactly what I was wearing, what I was doing, and everything about it, because I've been writing this story. I've got a next book out, which is getting hopefully published by the end of next month. And I kind of brought a lot of stuff from my childhood into this one. So I kind of had to reflect. And that's that. I remember I was tripping. I took an MBS, mind, body and soul. We were out, we were grafting. There was a few of us, we were doing things that we shouldn't have been doing, but we did that anyway. This is what we did when we were kids. We didn't know any better. No, I always justified it that my mum said, don't go out and get caught stealing cars. She never said, don't go out and steal cars. So I think, okay, that's a good idea. So I justify that, and then, the feeling I went through was like, I didn't feel it getting bit off. It was quite like numbing. But what it did do is it picked it up when the guy fled, and a few of my friends going, oh my God, your ear's on the floor. And I was thinking, what the fuck? I had a ski suit on, right? Back in the 80s, this was, by the way, right? Probably in the summer, sizzler. So I had this ski suit on with about 20 different zips. And he said, just put it in your pocket. The ambulance is on its way. So I did. I put it in one of these zips, and the ambulance turns up, and he went, okay, so where's your ear? And it was like a nightmare trying to find it. It took about 7-8 minutes before I pulled it out with a bit of fluff on it, and he stuck it in this gel bag, and then he took me to Western Hospital, and he had microsurgery in the theatre straight away to stitch this ear back on, and he did. He stitched it back on. It was, I can't remember, but could you imagine lying on a bed, right, tripping your box off while getting your ear stitched on? The thoughts and that were going through my mind, that they were really, really uninvited, you know what I mean? It was all the lights were going everywhere. I was getting it stitched on. And then it ended, and I went home with a big bandage, told my mum. And I had to go back and I can't remember, I think it was 6 weeks or something later, and it was black. And it looked like a quaver.
Oh.
Like a curly...
Yeah.
So it was, and I didn't want to lose it, you know, through that 6 weeks period, I kind of like, oh, the fucking lose me ear and all that. And the doctor was tapping it from behind, and he said, how many taps is there? I thought, I'll have to guess this. No, this is like what I was thinking. This is the way I was thinking. If I guess it, you know, we'll leave it on.
Yeah.
So he said he hadn't even tapped it, and you know, I was saying 2, and that was it. He had to take it back off again.
And then what?
And then that was it. I've got like half a satellite, and I kind of struggled with my self-esteem around building relationships up with girls. So I had this image then, which was an hard look.
Yeah.
You got half of the, you know, you got a face like it's being punched in, you know, and it became a coping mechanism for me, because I remember my mum saying to me years ago, what do you want for Christmas? And I was only 6 or 7, and I went, weights. She said, what do you want weights for? Don't you want like a Star Wars Millennium Falcon or a BMX? And I was like, no, I want weights. And she asked me why, and I said, because I wanted to protect her, because I was getting bullied by my dad for years. And it was difficult. And I was really skinny, I had little knobbly knees, I had freckles, you know. I was getting called Shit Splash in school, that was my nickname. Fucking Shit Splash. Cornflakes and Shit Splash. You know, I had all these freckles.
Wow.
I used to go in and go, my mum said, these are a sign of beauty. Well, fuck off. Shit Splash. So
That's not unusual though in Liverpool for kids to have freckles and knobbly knees. Because I remember when I used to go visit my grandmother, there was a kid with freckles and knobbly knees next door to me, and he was a hard kid. There's something about knobbly knees that make you hard. So do you think you were bullied, or do you think you were...
Yeah, I was bullied because, you know, we were poor in a sense. We had, you know, we never wore Farrah trousers or Ben Sherman shirts. We got government-funded clobber, and it was like, you knew it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You knew it, and
everyone knows it at that point.
Everyone knows it, and kids are cruel as well. So,
but it's funny, but in the rough area, I mean, I grew up on a council estate as well. It's weird, but because none of you have got now, it's really apparent who has anything, almost like, so like what trainers you were wearing when I was a kid was massive. Like if you had Nike trainers, like it didn't matter if everything else you were wearing was shit. You had Nike trainers, that means you're safe then, no one can tell you anything.
And Liverpool was a bit of a, especially in the 80s, was actually like the place where people wanted to dress like nice, because Liverpool fans, and I guess not Everton fans, but Liverpool fans were going around Europe, you know, finding new fashion out and sort of bringing back all these, like you say, you were wearing the zipper suit. That was like a bit in fashion at the time.
Yeah, it was. Yeah, you couldn't be seen dead with it now unless you were on the Alps. But
you said that your dad, especially, was like a figure of struggle for you, and you wanted to get big and strong so you could protect your mum. I mean, I fucking totally get that, coming from a single parent family. How long was he in your life for early on?
He was in our lives up until, you know, my mum kicked him out, really. Which was, I was like almost an adult by this time.
Really?
I was 6 of us, so I think my mum found it difficult having to manage, but, you know, even in being there, he wasn't any benefit to the household. He was more of a, you know, a big drinker, very controlling, Victorian dad, going to bed at 6 o'clock at night. I remember I used to hate the end tune to the Shepherd shows. Oh my God, can't even remember it now, but it was fucking horrible. Because I knew I'd have to go to bed straight after it.
Really?
Crossroads.
Oh right, yeah.
I don't know if you've ever.
Yeah,
you're probably too young, Lawrence.
Yeah. I remember the reruns of Crossroads.
Then anyway, used to go to bed after that, but there was a lot of violence, and so I was subjected to getting beaten a lot. I don't know why it was, and you know, I just kind of always wanted my dad's approval, wanted his love, wanted his attention, wanted him just to kind of tell me that he loved me, which was really, really difficult. And you know, he was a boxer. I'd never seen him fight, but he told me these great stories of when he was pissed about all these fights he'd had. So I joined a boxing club. Open, he'd show me some attention. You know what he did? He joined the boxing club, and he did briefly, and it was nice. But then I started to build my own confidence and my own self-esteem, and I didn't need him in my life.
When was that? Like when your early teens or sort of?
I'd say about between 14 and 16.
Yeah,
So
you start to grow away
yeah.
or closer, don't you? Yeah.
From the ages of 14 to 16, it was like, I'm on my own here. I don't really need you.
And that's the reality that was already going on. You just became more aware of it then, eh?
Yeah.
You were like, you're not a dad.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Yeah. So you took these skills, ironically, they basically were everything when you were in that Thai prison by the looks of it anyway.
Yeah.
Became a massive part of keeping yourself alive.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? What you learned in that boxing club. Going into the prison...
Can I ask one question before we go into the prison bit? Because the movie starts, just to lay out for people who haven't seen it, the movie starts very quickly and basically on Joe Cole, not the footballer, although he'd be excellent, doing drugs and living a lifestyle which isn't particularly, there's not much self-love in it. It's basically a drug-fueled lifestyle out in Thailand, right? And so the police burst in and obviously arrest you. I kind of want to know how we got to that point where you end up in Thailand, where because it's not a usual thing to go halfway around the world and do that. And
no, and the story, and I always share this because it was quite significant in my life, and how there was a big, massive change in the way I lived. It started on a prison roof in Walton Prison in 2003, and it was on that never-ending cycle of going to prison, institutions, near-death experiences, sick inside of being sick inside, fed up of it all, not knowing there was a way out, didn't want to use drugs, knew there was something inside me that said, look, fuck this, man, there's enough's enough, but not knowing what to do. And my answer was, I'll climb on the roof. And I remember, like, it was the hottest day of the year. We were on the yard, and there was about 100 inmates out, and it went round, the whispers went round, we're going to stay out for the shit out, you know what I mean? We're not going back in, it's too hot, it's fucking hot in there, no one's going back in, you're up for it, and everyone, yeah. And then it escalated, let's get on the roof. I thought that was a great idea, and how we got up there was amazing, because the kids, we had to get like sheets thrown out the window, we had to get tied them into knots, into ropes, get this kid called Geordie to climb up this drain pipe, shimmy up it because it had a little barrier around it. How we got up was like beyond me. And he reached the top, but when he got to the top, the whole prison just cheered and yelled with screams of approval. I mean, the windows were banging, go ahead, lad, go on, Geordie! And he was up there like Rocky Balboa. Go on! And I just looked up and I just fucking craved that attention. I just wanted it. And I wanted to be him up there, getting all that, all them cheers. So two guys got up and then it was my turn. And I was the oldest. I was a little bit overweight by this stage. I'd been on antidepressants for a few weeks, and I was taking any kind of drug you could get hold of, but I didn't want to carry on and continue. So I was halfway up, and I remember this screw called Mr. Muscle, and he shouted, "You'll never get up there, you fat ass!" And
so
I fell.
Is he just watching?
Yeah, because he couldn't come out, and I fell off the roof. Well, not off the roof, off halfway up, and landed right on the coccyx in my ass. It was fucking sore. And the shame I was filled with, like, motivated me to go again, because I didn't want to just didn't want to have them feelings kicking in. And it turned into something like a North Sea rescue with the guys at the top of the roof trying to pull me up. Like, fucking get him up, he's making a cunt out of us. When it gets to the top, and it gets the same jubilation that you got, the cheers, the yells, the screams, go ahead, lad, fucking you made it. And then it went silent. It was over. And then it was about the guy getting up next. And I thought, what the fuck have I done? And I wanted to, seriously contemplated about just jumping off, because I envisaged myself getting fucking, like, beaten and taken down a block, and, spending, and I did. I got taken down a block, the segregation unit. And this is what changed my life. This is coming to the question. I was like, I'm in a segregation unit in Armley in Leeds on an 8-man unlock. I've just come off a roof in Liverpool. There was 16 of us. We got dispersed all over the UK. I'm in a cell, and the guy next door to me asked me for a light. And by the time I got a light to him, a match through one of the cleaners, he'd killed himself. He'd hung himself, and he was a young lad, and kind of hit home, and I was sitting in my cell, and I was crying, and I was sobbing into my pillow, but the door was open, and I was acting tough, and putting on a brave face. And I remember sitting down and wondering what I needed to do. And I phoned my mum. No, I'm not a mummy's boy by any, you know, I don't really speak to my mum and share my feelings, and we don't have feelings where we come from. And I spoke to my mum. 2 screws up in the door, took me to the phone, swaggers out. You know, that image, that mask. My mum picked up the phone after a couple of rings, and she was just like, the love that came out of her voice. She was like, "Are you okay, son? What's going on?" And I couldn't even answer her. You know, I had a lump in my throat, I had tears welling up my eyes. I had these 2 big screws standing next to me, and I thought, if they see me, like,
breaking down,
and it'll be a weakness, and they'll judge me, and you know, all that masculinity, that male masculinity that we...
It's at the worst possible point, though, in prison, isn't it?
Yeah.
I've watched a lot of fucking prison shows, and you show any weakness, and that's it. Like.
Yeah, so that was what I didn't want to show, any weakness, and I went back to that cell. And you know what my mum said to me? She knew. Never had to say nothing. She just went, "I know you're eating." Because I couldn't answer it.
Yeah.
She was going, "I know you're eating, you don't have to say nothing." She said, "Son, just ask for help." That was the first time anyone, that well, probably people had told me for years to get help, right? But that was the first time it sunk in. There was that window of opportunity, it sunk into my heart, and I went, fuck, I went back to Shell, sobbed, and then I wrote this letter to this probation officer and I said, "Look, can you help me here?" And he got me into a drugs rehabilitation in Bristol. I put conditions on it. He said, "You know, where do you want to go?" I said, "I want one with women, you know, with a gym, down south where it's hot, you know, putting conditions on my own kind of recovery."
He's sitting there going, "I fancy south of France."
A wish list.
Yeah, a wish list. Yeah, so this is, you know, you want help, but you want fucking
good help.
Yeah, you want benefits with it. You know, you're forgetting that you've just been in like degradation and desperation and just pure loneliness for years.
And you're in prison.
And you're in prison.
Wrong.
Yeah, and you're in prison yet again. You know what I mean? For doing something wrong. And this was like the catalyst. Really, I found an understanding and some awareness around my drug use, you know, and I got clean, and then I got invited on a 3-month backpacking holiday to Thailand, which turned into to 5 years, you know. But when I was out there, you know, I'm a world-class card-carrying pleasure seeker, you know. I'll fucking squeeze myself into a tight pair of undies just to get a feeling. It's just like I just wanted to change the way I felt. You know, and I'm meeting loads of different people, and it's exciting, it's tropical. I'd never left Liverpool unless it was on a sweatbox. So I'm on a flight now in Thailand. And
must have been quite exciting.
It was fucking amazing. I loved it. The food was fucking boss, and the women were like, "I love you, what's your name?" And I was like, "It doesn't matter." You know, I just felt like a superstar.
Yeah, because you're obviously walking around. Were you quite muscular at the time?
Yeah, I was young, muscular. I was single, no kids, I had no ties. No, there was nothing holding me back. I was free. You know, my mate said, I boxed for England when I was a kid.
Right.
You know, that's what I achieved, kind of greatness in them kind of areas. And I wanted to box in Thailand. He said, "Don't get in the ring with these ties, they'll break your ribs within minutes." And I went, "All right, yeah, it's sound." And I got in the ring and I got my ribs broken. You know, and the insanity, repeating the same mistake and expecting different results was do it again. And then do it again. But every time I got back in, I learned something new. Mm-hmm. You know, I'm not one of those people who just, fucking, I'm going to get back in. And I excelled in that sport due to the fact that I had skills with my hands. You know, I learned to throw kicks and knees and elbows.
So that was Muay Thai?
That was Muay Thai, yeah. And, you know, he went back home. And the day before he said, "Well, we're off." And I went, "Well, I'm staying. I'm going to learn a new language, adopt a new culture and stay here."
Where in Thailand was it?
Chiang Mai.
And so is that quite a big city, or is it a smaller?
It's like the second biggest city in Thailand. You've got Bangkok and then Chiang Mai.
Okay.
The two,
so you're not out in the sticks like out in the middle of nowhere.
No,
you're in a big built-up city at this point.
Yeah, it's not massive, but it's big enough.
How did you afford to live at that point?
I was boxing for tips.
Wow.
I was boxing for tips. I had a job teaching English because he had a TEFL that I'd studied for, teaching English as a foreign language. So I got a job in an educator at a big school. So we had 50 kids.
Does that mean there's a load of Thai kids
with Scouse accents?
Yeah.
I fucking love that.
You know what, right? I got the sack in the end, but it was fucking...
I'm not surprised.
Good morning. All these Thai kids just looking up.
That's what it was like. It was like I went into my first class, I had 50 students, and I shit myself. I was like, What am I supposed to say? Yeah.
Yeah.
And shit to say on the... I look like John Cena, one of them said.
As it comes into the class.
Imagine as well, though, you're those kids,
Yeah.
and then you walk in. They must have been like, what the hell?
It was like, I just felt like I felt like a fraud.
Yeah.
Even though I had a TEFL and I could teach English. You know, I didn't know what to teach them, and it was scouse in a sense, you know what I mean? And, you know, now then, what's happening? And, you know, just to entertain. But, you know, I did do my best in some areas. I did try, but it wasn't for me. It was just a means to an end to pay the bills. I boxed over an evening, and I got a job as Sylvester Stallone stunt stands in on Rambo, which...
Unbelievable, by the way.
Yeah.
I read this about you. I was reading, you were like, I'm like, fucking stunt double as Rambo.
Yeah.
Like, of all you've had a mad life already, but throwing that in there is just crazy.
Some people just have that as a story.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
That's
And
enough to get
it.
on the podcast.
Yeah.
to
They
be
go
honest
to
with you.
dinner. They go to dinner parties and they don't tell the rest of the story. They just go, "I was a Rambo stunt double." And
That's
everyone
enough,
goes,
innit?
That's brilliant.
No.
That's really good, Dave. You've done well.
What the fuck was that like, dude? Like meeting Sylvester Stallone and doing that with him?
And was he impressed with how much you look like him?
No, because I didn't look like him. It was a stand-in.
Oh right, okay.
It was he had a stunt double. It was a Polish guy, I think. Quite really like resembled him. I was in a gym training, and I met this guy on a running machine, and he looked familiar, and I couldn't picture where I'd seen him.
His lips were just full up into.
No, this was a guy from England, Matt Marsden. He was on.
I was sorry. I thought he was meeting Sly Stallone.
Oh my God, he's just on a running machine.
Hey, yo, Billy, what's happening? No, it was a young guy, and he said, I said, you know, you one of the boxers? Because, you know, I was in that circuit at the time. And he went, no, man. You know, I said, you look familiar. He went, I'm on Coronation Street. You might have seen me. My name's Matt Marsden. I didn't watch Corrie, but he did kind of look familiar. And he explained why he was in Thailand, and they were making Rambo, and I got really excited about it, you know, all the best. And then a couple of days later, a casting crew come in, asking, you know, non-size, all the Westerners did. There wasn't many of us in there, you know, taking our numbers and taking pictures, and, you know, would be interested in being extras. And I said, yeah. So they give me a call a week later, and I thought it was a wind-up. Hey, Billy, we'd like you to be Sylvester Stallone stunt standing. Can you do that? And I was like, what the fuck? Who's this? What? Who was he? What do you mean, stands in? Don't look nothing like him. No, man, he just need a stand-in. His other stand-in's got the shits, man. He had the green curry, and he got the shits.
Unbelievable.
So, I went on set. I was like thinking, this is a blag. And when I met the Royal Orchid Hotel in Chiang Mai, I went there. It was 5 a.m. I thought, get me out of fucking bed early. There's got to be a blag, this. Gets there, and they're there, all the cast. Gets me in this little minibus and takes me to this jungle. And there he was, Stallone. Just walked by. Wow. And he had a presence, seriously, right? I've never felt nothing like it. Like, I'm not like when I'm starstruck, but it was like, fucking wow. You know, I grew up watching Rocky.
Yeah.
He was my hero.
Yeah.
You know, he was Rocky Balboa and Rambo, and just that, to have the opportunity to be on set and be a part of Unit 1 with him was amazing. And I ended up in his I ended up hounding him and speaking to him. I was dead excited. And I was quite likeable, I think, because he brought me into his...
and he would have loved the fact that you were an actual fighter as well.
Yeah, he did. Yeah, he come and watch me fight, and he said, "Yeah, man, he's a warrior." Because Kevin King is a Scouser, and he's his producer. He's his manager. He works with him. He's like self-made millionaire. He went to LA and got lucky with Stallone and worked with him for decades.
Must have been how Tony Bellew ended up working with him as well. Get all the jobs for the boys.
Get all the Scousers involved, isn't it? But yeah, that was amazing. I was on Unit 1 with him for a little while, and got to chat with him and spend a bit of time with him. He didn't speak much, but he was, you know, he's a gentleman. He was never out of character as well.
Yeah,
that's because he's not actually an actor.
No,
he's actually just a man who plays
variations
of
yeah.
He's like,
just fucking. I was like, yo,
yeah.
You know, and I remember he asked for a volunteer because he was going to rip this Burmese soldier's windpipe out with his bare hands. And he wanted like the light and the camera and all that set. And, you know, the guy had all this stuff, yeah. So I said, I'll stand in, and he's got his hands around my throat. And I was like, okay. And I went to Kevin. I said, nah, no one can actually fucking rip someone's windpipe out with the bare hands. And he went, Rambo can. And that was enough, and you know, it was just fucking great. So yeah, that was an experience as well.
Yeah. You know, when you talk about the movie star thing, like I would totally be starstruck by Sylvester Stallone.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
What I'm imagining is you on set and him going, I need a volunteer, and you're like, straight away.
Yeah, my hand went up.
And then as he's doing it, you're just going, and he's got his hand around you. Like, oh, that's amazing. That must be so weird.
There's movie stars and then there's Sylvester Stallone. He's a legendary.
Yeah, he
The
is.
whole family is really. They're quite an interesting.
But the Rocky story, the fact that he went and he wrote that himself, and they were like, "No, like we'll want the script off you." All these production companies were like, "We'll take the script, but we're going to get someone who like is an actual actor to play it." And he's like, "No, you only get this if I play it." And that's he forced his way in. I love that.
That then made that made Matt Damon, Ben Affleck did the same thing, inspired by him. So he's like made a generation of people. In many ways, he was like the guy who inspired that YouTube kind of feel where it's like you're going to make your own thing, you're going to star in it.
It's kind of mad how him and like Arnie are like best mates now. They're on each other's Instagram. They hang out with each other like daily.
They were in the Expendables or whatever it was, weren't they? That movie.
Well, Sylvester's one made the Expendables, but Arnie came in later. Whatever.
So anyway, I mean, we're telling his story now. So then you made that money, but you were still boxing. How did you then? Were you doing drugs and boxing at the same time, or did you? Relapse?
No, what happened was I was in recovery. I was clean. I was abstinent. I stopped taking drugs, you know, and then I started meeting people, you know, and I started meeting girls, and I didn't understand, you know, the affairs of the heart and the emotional upheaval, the rejection. You know what I mean? It was easy when you're on drugs. You can just fucking dismiss her and she's a lesbian. You know what I mean? If she doesn't fancy her, she's got to be a lesbian. That was my mindset.
Such a mature outlook on life, isn't it?
Yeah, and that's just the way it was. And you know, and I met this girl, and our relationship was based on a dictionary. And I found out she was with another guy, and you know, because she wasn't answering her phone, and you know, she was going missing at the weekends, and I fell deeply in love. And she wasn't a bar girl; she had to be different. She was amazing, and she couldn't speak a word of English. And I found out she was with a guy at this dictionary, and it was like, Tamai. She went, Tamai. Which meant why? Because that's all I could fucking say.
Right.
Why? And then, you know, in broken English, in the best broken English that she could muster, she went, I love you, same, him. No problem. And I was like, but there is. In England, it's me and you, end of. Not me, you, and your fella. I was trying to explain, because their culture was totally different. And anyway, it broke my heart. And I remember the pain I was feeling. I was clean at the time as well. It was horrible, the pain. And no matter how many times I got in the ring, you know, you could put a plaster on a cut and you could mend a broken arm, but like you couldn't put a plaster on a broken arm, you know what I mean? And it was like, unless it was just another disaster that was in waiting.
Did you go and fight more after that? Were you like so raging? You were like, just get me in the ring.
Yeah, I was just more. I had 5 fights, literally every night. Right, show fights, most of them, literally every night. And I swear, I remember the young Thai guys who were in the show fights with me didn't want to get in the ring in the end with me. They were like, nah, we're not. You know,
when you say show fights, do you mean like exhibitions?
Exhibitions, but they were never.
But you weren't going 100%, I'm assuming, or was this all out trying to knock them out?
This was all out. This was them. Exhibition.
Boxing or Muay Thai?
Muay Thai.
Oh, fucking.
And this was me.
How can you even do that?
Going all out.
So you're fighting like what?
Dude,
how long are you fighting? How long are you in the ring for a night? 5
Well, like
fights?
3 rounds or something?
Yeah.
It was like, you know, it was 3 rounds, but it was like, I don't know, I was quite fit.
Right.
I believed I was quite fit at the time.
Well, you're fighting all out every night. Like that. The mental thing about this is obviously we now have UFC, which has brought like Muay Thai into like pop culture in the Western world, and it's like that is the worst form of striking, and you're doing it every night.
Yeah, 12 rounds. If you're doing it 12 rounds, you was managing 12 easy, you know what I mean? But within threes, breaks, because they'd have to go in as well, because they'd have to, like...
So it was like a tournament every night?
There was like a tournament every night.
The further you get, the more money you get? Or you just
No, it was just tips. It was just, you know, it was never any massive competitions.
So how you fight depends on... So the more entertaining you are,
the more entertaining, but I was an asset, because I could communicate with the foreigners. And I sort of put myself on them as well. Say, look, you get in the fucking ring, right, and try and pay the bills the way we are. You know what I mean? I'd make it about the kid. My agenda was mine. It was all self-centered. You know, I wanted to... Look, these fucking poor... I'm fucking skint, by the way. Right? I was skint, but I wasn't letting them know. I was making it about them. What do you mean? You've got a family to feed. So I'd manipulate
Really?
The crowd, because
you're a bit of a showman then?
Yeah,
cool.
that was it. And then
you're the Conor McGregor of that group.
Well, no, he was the Western guy though.
Yeah.
You would have stuck out like a sore thumb.
But that's where I learned most of me technique from. No camps, no schools, no training where you're regimental, your routine, and you get kicked in the fucking ribs. You need to lift your knee up, Bill, right? And I was like, they couldn't speak English and I couldn't speak Thai. I was getting kicked in the neck, kicked in the ribs, kicked at the back of the leg, the sciatic nerve. I was going down. I was like, what the fuck? And I just watched and observed and thought, yeah, all right, lift that knee up. You know what I mean? They're scared of your hands, so they're going to avoid, they're going to teep you, they're going to keep coming with the knees, they're going to push you, they're going to try and hold you, get out of all that. And I learned pretty quick and I adapted. And I became a part of what the ring, you know what I mean? And it was mine, I'm in control of it. You're not fucking hurting me, because I've been here all my life and there's no one going to put me fucking down no more. And that's what was going through my mind. And then this relationship ended and I was thinking, fuck this, mate. You know what I mean? I'm really angry and they could sense it. And there was a part in the film where it happens to me all the time, but I get really, when I get hurt, it was full of rage. I took it out on the people that were closest to me. Because these were friends, these were big
comrades.
Yeah, comrades. They had,
That's
relationships.
strange, because you're like a team, like a bit like the it's like the WWE, like type wrestling type thing. You're all mates behind the scenes, but you actually have to beat the fuck out of each other as well every night. That's a bizarre relationship to have. Yeah,
it was, and it wasn't great money.
But
what it led to then is the relationship ended, and there's a saying, you sit in a barber shop long enough, you're going to end up with an haircut. I used to sit in these bars every night drinking water. I've got loads of pain emotionally going on. Physically, I can take punches all day long, and it doesn't bother me. But when you're getting them feelings of fucking hell, the rejection, the loss, the longing, the loneliness, and it becomes a glass of water, then it becomes a Red Bull, and then it becomes have a whiskey. And I know, because I've got a bit of an understanding. I'm 3 years clean by this time, and I've got this understanding that if I take that drink, that there's going to be an outcome, there's going to be a consequence. And I remember, it was just a battle within. Like all that conflict going on. It was a fight. It was fucking really, really hard. And I just went, it was whiskey, and I don't even like whiskey. And I wanted a brandy, but they didn't sell it over there. And I just took this one gulp of this whiskey, and I felt the burning sensation going down, my throat, and bang. I've got an allergic reaction to drugs. Don't break out in lumps and bumps, I break out in handcuffs. Prison sentences, pain, misery and loss. And that's what happened. I just jumped on a bike with another friend, fucked off to Burma and bought China White, pure heroin. I don't go, okay, let's go to the bar and just enjoy a night out and party and then go home and sleep. Let's go to fucking Burma, the Golden Triangle, buy some heroin and fuck our lives out up. And that's what it did, to come back. And then because the gear was so strong, I wanted to be a little bit more. Wanted cocaine. We don't sell cocaine over here. We'll get you yaba. What the fuck's that? It's crazy drug, basically. That yaba. That's what it's translated as, which was methamphetamine. And we got this drug that I'd never fucking seen, never took before, and it took it to another level. And it was like a souped up crack cocaine that give you a 12-hour shift. Like you're just on fire. And that got me in the ring even more. I was fighting even more. I was fucking angry. Sound of mind and clarity, it was gone long. I started getting a little bit more. I got drugs off of the Thai guys and started to sell them to foreigners because they would you sell that, you did. So I did to make ends meet. Just to fund me habit really that I developed by this time. I was in a full-blown relapse, and it took a few months before I was arrested and then incarcerated. But I was fucking that paranoid, I had to fucking sell the fridge because it was, every time he opened it up, it was speaking to me in Spanish. You know what I mean? I was thinking, what the fuck? It was just, my mind.
This is a cocktail of disaster, innit? Because not only it's the drugs, you're probably getting a bit of brain damage on a nightly basis at this point. Concussions. There'd be a lot of concussions in there.
Oh, I'd have black eyes, my head would be throbbing like a box of oranges. It was quite, I'd be black and blue, I'd be getting massages off these side birds every night, fucking, because it was just fucking painful. And it was quite cheap.
So you were basically just stuck in a cycle.
And
you weren't conscious enough to get out of it.
No.
And that is where the movie picks up, really.
Yeah. I should have went home. Went home. This is what people saying, go home, but I had the shame of it. Relapsing, not telling me mum, not telling me family, not telling any of my friends. You know, and just keeping it a secret. You know, kept me in it. You know, until...
Shame is one of the worst things, isn't
fucking
it?
Shame is shit. It was like, shame is like, you know, I shouldn't be shamed into silence. That shame would keep me silent. You know what I mean?
There's nothing wrong with failing, but
No.
we also, like, people are so scared of failing because everyone else will go, you failed, and it's like, well, at least I tried. Like, but we don't take anything. It's very hard to have that attitude, isn't it?
It also so rarely happens that people, if you do admit failure or admit shame, most people don't point at you and go, "You're a fucking idiot." Most of them go, "Oh, sorry about that. Let me help you out."
Yeah.
But you never. Your
in
mind,
our heads,
your mind tricks
self-critical.
you to get
especially
to that point.
extremists like you, like people who are always trying to be the best, like at something. You're your own biggest critic, I would assume, as well.
Oh, definitely, yeah. You know, I just found I was just locked in this fantasy. Even my friends were going, "Look, Bill, you know, get back to reality." And I said, "This is reality. This is my fucking reality. This is what it is." And I was trying to convince myself and manipulate myself into believing it. But the fact was, it was a total fucking nightmare. You know, I ended up, I was that skinny I could angle eyes off a fucking Dorito. I'd lost all my weight.
Yeah.
I had this police officer called Pinong at my door every night, and he was using drugs with me.
Right.
So the corruption was fucking massive. I felt I was bulletproof. I thought I could get away with anything. You know, and then I get arrested with a mobile phone, a few, you know, I had drugs in the house. I remember the arrest. It was, and it was one of the Thai boxers, sadly, that grassed me up.
Was it a bit of a surprise to you when the police came bursting through the doors? Because, like you say, you thought you were bulletproof.
Yeah, it was. I remember the call. I got a call off one of the young Thai boxers who we done show boxing with. He's fucking slippery at the best of times. He was always, you know, he had his own agenda.
So you worked out that it was him?
Yeah, no, he phoned me up and he went, "Billy, you know, I've got your trainees in my tuk-tuk. Where are you? I'll bring them round." And I was just woke up at this time. So I was still half asleep, and I said I'm in such an apartment, and I put the phone down, and then he'd be there in fucking 10 minutes or something. And as it lay back, I thought, that's odd. Really odd. Something was niggling at me, and I knew this. He's phoned me up, he's offering to bring them round, he's never done a fucking thing for me. You know what I mean? Why would he do it? And I got up, went to the door, and I seen 4 armed police sprinting up the stairs. I knew they were busy straight away. You know, they were plain clothes, but I just knew. You know what I mean? And I looked around. I had a Colt 45 on the bedstand. I had a load of drugs, loads of Thai stick weed, loads of Yabba tablets, and that was my first priority. There's no fucking window, you know what I mean, to throw it out of. Plugged all them, just stuck them right up me. We call it plugging it, politely up my back passage. That's, you know, you're not
that's one of the first things you see in the movie as well. And I was like, holy shit, like this guy. It's just like
that scene in the movie is how it was.
It's intense.
Yeah.
It's just how it was. It was great the way John Stefan, the director, got that. It was like we spoke about that scene because it was paramount to the arrest, you know, and then the incarceration, you know, and then the drugs sticking. And I remember like getting them up there, and they found a gun, and the gun went missing because it was a new gun, and the weapons went missing. And then they had a few phones lying around, and then I'm wondering about this gun. I'm going to get a long time, and you know, realised that it wasn't really that important because you got 9 months tops for a gun over in Thailand. You know what I mean? And I got arrested for handling a stolen mobile phone. And this is what I was using like the phone for drug deals. I was like changing the phone because of the paranoia, the SIMs. I was buying phones, and you know, unfortunately, I got caught with a few. I got 3 years.
3 years for a stolen mobile.
And yeah.
I don't know what you're getting for a stolen mobile phone. So that's where the film picks up, isn't it?
You see you go into the prison in the movie, and then like shitting the drugs out and that, and it looks fucking painful. Like it doesn't look pleasant. But
what I was really struck by in that first scene when you were arrested is your level of like resistance and resilience. I think a lot of people would just sort of be like, go down, stay quiet, and you know, just be a bit more subservient. The whole way through this film, the way they portray you, which, and a lot of respect from my side, was you're constantly pushing back. You're surrounded in a cell by all those guys. You're pushing them back. The police are trying to arrest you. You're pushing them
there's
back.
no fear. There's fear there, but it's like you also seem to be well aware of the fact that if you show too much weakness, you're going to be a victim.
You're driven. Mm-hmm. There's something propelling you to a place of like, I'm not gonna fucking take the shit I've took all my life from anyone. Mm-hmm. I've stopped taking that, and I'm not gonna continue, taking it again from anyone. So it got to a point where I didn't want to get arrested because I didn't want to do a withdrawal. Mm-hmm. Simple. So I'd resist. You know what I mean? I went to the prison. I didn't want to get intimidated and told what to do because I'd get walked all over. And that first experience of going in that cell was a fucking nightmare. I mean, I remember walking, picture it, going into the prison and sitting down around one plate with about half a dozen other ties, eating a bit of sticky rice and this soup that you couldn't even identify, and it stunk.
What did it taste like?
Oh, it's like fucking mud, like sweaty fish. It was like, them catfish that they chop up, and it was like all kinds of bits of whatever. I remember putting a spoon in. I was fucking, like the second day, by this time I was really hungry. I put a spoon into this bowl and pulled out like half a chicken's head with a Mohican. And I was like, I was feeling ill anyway. I was ready just to latch it and just launch it, and this Thai guy grabbed it and just started sucking the head off it. And
that's fucking weird.
He was quite pleased.
Yeah, because I think they in Thailand they use every part of the chicken. Chicken feet, everything. Yeah.
I would have been fucking 10 stone within a week, mate, because I can't deal with that shit.
Yeah, I didn't myself initially, but you find yourself forcing it down. When you've got no money and you've got no friends and there's no one helping you. You've only got one choice and you've got to eat.
How intimidating were all those guys running? Because we see, like, they look like mean motherfuckers, these guys. Like, they tattoos all over their faces. And they're not the biggest guys, but there's so many of them. Yeah. You know what I mean? They're surrounding you, constantly pushing you and getting into you. And you're used to a one-on-one fight, even though you're a hard guy. Because
of them being in the boxing arena, and I had a few ties that were similar with tattoos and that. When I got in there, it was like, these are a gang, these are collectively a unit together. They're going to kind of. It was frightening. What was more frightening was the stories that I was told. You know what I mean? About these guys before I met them.
Okay.
You know what I mean? It was like, these are the HIV infected samurais. They've got no life.
Yeah.
They don't value your life.
One of the threats that were made were to inject people with HIV, wasn't it?
Made in, they had barrows, that were cleverly made into syringes, and they'd fill it up with blood. It'd be like, it'd be infected HIV. I'd seen that happen a few times. I'd witnessed the rapes, I'd witnessed a murder within a week of being in a prison in Bangkok, and it was the most frightening experience of, and I don't witness murders every day.
Yeah.
It's not a regular occurrence. Oh yeah, I just seen him getting killed, it was great. It doesn't happen. You hear about this stuff, but you never actually, it's traumatic when you see it.
Yeah.
Was that this gang that did it?
Yeah, it was this gang, and it was a young kid, about 25, and it was a drug deal that went wrong. I think it was over the phone or something. They were all into something. And he chased him. And I seen him running past, and I was standing there, and the guy ran out with his chair, cracked him across the face. He fell to the floor, and this other Thai kid was standing behind him, and he was just slowly stabbing him. Just like, it was death shots, in the neck.
Yeah.
It was cold, it was calculated, it wasn't done in a frenzy. They went, it was just like, and the screams, every scream, it was fucking deep, and it was like, I don't know, it come from his gut, you know what I mean? It come from somewhere deep down. It was like, wow, it was inhumane, right? It was like, whoa. And it was like, the weirdest thing was, it was all in slow motion, and I was watching it as it was happening. And I was like, there's that feeling like of guilt and not being able to intervene, and then knowing that if you did, it's not even your problem. But at the same time, I was just transfixed. It was like, I was just watching it.
As a human, we're taught to try and stick up for each other and look after people who are vulnerable and all of that. But like in that scenario, you got to fucking sit down and let this fucking play out, because you're next, basically, if you do anything in it.
Well, I'd already got myself into debt at this time, you know, and it was the same gang that was threatening me and subjecting me to threats of violence and the fingers across their throat and rapes, and they owed money, and I had to beg the missionaries that used to visit us to help pay this debt. And after seeing that, I thought, fuck this shit right off. Pay the debt, man. And I paid that debt.
How'd you get into debt?
Through drugs. Getting drugs without having any money and promising to pay them
Right.
by the end of the month. When we got this little 2,000 baht off the prisoners abroad. And the debts were like 10,000 baht by this time, know what I mean? I was giving them me protein tablets, I was giving them me vitamins, everything. I'd give them the clothes off me back, I'd sell me soul. You know, you can have everything. You know, it was just like I had nothing. I had nothing.
Quite a shock to the system.
It was the loneliest ever. If you want to know what loneliness feels like, shit in a shell with 80 people. Right? Shit in a shell with 80 people. No one can speak English to you. You can't explain or express how you're feeling. You know, because I felt really fucking hurt. I'm a human being, I'm a man. You know, and I don't want to have this image of like, I'm fucking Superman. I was scared and I'm a frightened little boy. You know, and it was only this lady boy that I was sitting in between. I was sitting in between a lady boy called Tiffany and a guy that had died. This was my first night in a fucking cell. The guy had died, right, the night before.
He'd just been left
Just been left there for 2-3 days.
How did he die, do you know?
No idea. Didn't have the fucking time to ask. He was just
Is
dead.
that the one who's depicted where you wake up and you're right next to him and
Yeah.
he's already dead? Yeah.
You're almost leaning on him, like you're sleeping almost, like you roll over and his face is right there.
Because I've still got these drugs that I've smuggled up my backside, so I'm still intoxicated and still under the influence. You know, this lady boy Tiffany with this top, no money, no honey. She's, I like your blue eye. That's all I remember saying. I love your blue eye. You Brad Pitt. I was thinking, I hope you don't fucking like the brown one, girl. The fucking blue one sounds, yeah. Getting a little bit paranoid, but at the same time feeling a bit flattered. Really? You know what I mean?
I mean, when you're feeling lonely, even that would probably be like better than nothing at that point.
Any level of affection, or sort of,
you know,
just someone being nice to you.
It was like the humanness, and but those experiences of like arms and legs, it was like a mass grave. It was. It's like, where's the beds? You know, like my head going in there, it was like, oh, it's got to be like Wandsworth or somewhere in the UK, like you've got beds and you know, you got a pillow and maybe an Xbox and there's a DVD player there, you know, the fucking none. You know what I mean? There's floor, no bed.
Yeah.
And you got a fucking bog roll as a pillow.
And it's so small as well, and there's so many men in there that they're having to cuddle up to each other almost when they sleep, and that was weird. I was like, they're literally like hugging each other, like in like file.
It's fucking balls on your head and fucking legs wrapped around you and arms. You're waking up and you're like, you shouldn't fucking start kissing me. You know what I mean? It's that close.
Yeah.
You must have been pretty sleep deprived then. How much would you sleep? Like, because at the same time, not only that, but you're worried about the threat in the cell anyway of something happening. You must have slept with one eye open almost.
The Thais are very, very passive, right?
Right.
You know, when it comes to authority, you could have 2 staff members guarding 1,000 inmates,
right?
And they'd be like, they would not do nothing. You wouldn't see no riots, nothing like in the UK where everyone's banging up and kicking off, nothing. Two screws and they'd rule the roost. So at 9 o'clock every night, a whistle would blow. You'd have to be silent. You'd hear the whistle, you couldn't speak after 9 o'clock till the next day. 8 o'clock before that, 8 o'clock, every 12 hours they'd have the national anthem, the Thai national anthem. You'd have to stand up, right? You'd have to, on the yard, standing to attention while the flag was going up. Nasiga la 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 da 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 da. Fucking still in my head, it won't cook and go. I feel like that for years.
Yeah.
Every day and I'd have to stand there, but I was like, this is like, I'm not a prisoner of war here. 8 a.m. and then 8 p.m. I'd have to stand up in the cell. Thai national anthem. 9 o'clock, the whistle blow. No one could talk. Lights would be on. It'd be like this. No fucking light. They wouldn't switch it off. You'd expect it to be dark and gloomy and really austere. And then deep, kind of like, what the fuck?
Yeah.
Bright. They'd have a guy sitting at the end of the cell on suicide watch, taking shifts every hour because it was against the rules to kill yourself. That was one. They'd read out 10 rules every morning. One of them was you can't kill yourself. And I was trying to buy a pair of shoelaces off this Thai guy. And he, Tamai, why? I thought, fucking really fucking low. I was depressed, like there was nothing left, and I lost the will to live. And he was going, he was holding my hand and he was going, look, don't. He said, because what'll happen is collectively, as a cell, we'll be punished. This is what the rules are. And when we get punished, we get punished. And that was like probably one of the most like selfless acts of like not doing it. You know, and I've not, like you said, someone talking to you. Whether it was in broken English, whether it was in Thai, I could see the way he was kind of, you know, his body language is enough. And then I had to learn Thai because they were giving me all the wrong medication.
Right.
You know, so I learned to speak Thai and I learned to understand it. And that was a big mistake because I knew what they were saying about me.
Yeah.
You know, and it was like, whoa, that caused a lot of reaction. You know, a lot of violence. I got beaten up a lot. Because, you know, I thought, you know, I'm not having this, and then I get battered and I'd do it again and battered. And it was never 1-on-1. It was like a group of them and just attacking you. But I was like, what? It was only like this officer persisted. You're like the Oscar de la Hoya, this prison. He said, get your shit together, man. Fucking hell. He said, go and join the boxing team because you're going to end up dead. These will never fight you 1-on-1. If you want to fight someone 1-on-1, you get in that ring. And he was the only guard that kind of gave me a bit of attention and understanding. He could speak pretty good English as well. So it was nice to converse, you know, and get a message conveyed to me from someone who cared, in a way.
Because when you're lonely like that, then anyone saying anything just feels like...
Yeah.
I mean, a few words at that point just makes all the difference, I suppose.
It does, yeah.
And then obviously...
It's mad that they had a boxing club in a fucking prison, though.
Yeah.
Strange, isn't it?
Bloody good looking one as well. Looked nice.
So you finally get to do that after they let you in there.
Yeah.
And you learn how to do... This is where, in the movie, you learn Muay Thai for the first time properly. Had you already learned quite a lot of it?
I'd already learned quite a lot of it at this stage. I think how the director wanted to... The arc of the film was there was like 3 fights.
I see that, yeah.
You know, and this is how he described it to me. The first one, it's very angry and you get fucking, there's just no holds barred and you're going at it. You know, hell for leather. The second one, you've sort of got a little bit more skillful at it. You've learned something, you've joined a team. They've showed you a bit more direction. And the third one, you've mastered the art of it, in a sense, because we're going to put you in with the best of the best. And in this one, this is the art. And then there's that redemption and, you know, and that inner feeling of kind of peace, it's not like volatile and visceral and violent in that way. It's more controlled and you've developed.
You're a martial artist.
You're a martial artist. However, for me, you know, I just learned scrapyard, Muay Thai. Like I said, I never went to schools. I never went to proper training camps where they do it all. I was learning dirty fucking sports, pure like dirty tricks, and hitting back that way.
So when you went to prison, were they training you more properly then? Yeah,
there was a guy called Chanam Saijai, fucking amazing. I'd love to see him again, honestly God. He was the Ajan, you know. He was like, he took me under his wing. At first, it's played by a guy called Somlat Kam Singh in the film. Now, Somlat Kam Singh is the only Thai to win a gold medal at the Olympics in boxing.
Was he the bigger guy, the trainer in the film? Yeah, he was like, quite a good character, I thought. Yeah,
he's like the undefeated like fucking Muay Thai champion of Thailand. He's like he's a legend. He's a legend in Thailand. Everyone knows him. It was great to have him on board. So we played the role of Chanam Saijai, and it was great that he brought me into his little world, and he sit me down and he talked to me like I was a fucking kid. Billy, you need to listen, like Bruce Lee, you know, like give me little morsels of like knowledge and going, this is what you need to do, you know. And he take his time on me, and that was that I felt like a part of something and unified, and I was involved, you know, and I've landed, man, I'm all right here. You know,
and you had an outlet for all that energy inside again.
Loads of anger, loads of it. Stop taking drugs, because that was my problem. You know, like I said, I've got an allergy to drugs. You don't fucking do too good with them.
One thing that really struck me about the film, and obviously with the food being so bad, I mean, you know, you do a lot of boxing training as well. You probably still train. You need a lot of food to train. How do you end up training boxing and looking in good shape and being in good shape when the food is so bad?
Well, that's the benefit of being in the boxing team. It's called they put you in a cell called Hon Mac Gila. It's like the sports cell, but you get privileges. Right. You know, you get extra food, which is like sustainable. You know what I mean? People get visits and you can have food handed in. So there was a lot of chicken, there was a lot of beef, there was a lot of pork, there was a lot of rice, a lot of vegetables that they were betting. So it was like, wow, this is fucking amazing. You know what I mean? So you'd sustain. You know, and they'd have a running water.
Yeah.
In the camp. You know what I mean? You know, not a pipe, but it was there. It was constant. You didn't have to go buy it or wait in a queue.
I remember seeing you fight over the water in the start of the movie just to get your bottle into the fucking.
It was just like you know. Have you ever? This is how it was. Like you'd have to picture it coming out of a football stadium, shocking, innit? You can't fucking move. You can't navigate. That's what it was like. Just trying to get some water or go to the toilet. You know what I mean?
Because the film there's water throughout the film. It's quite interesting, actually. Like I guess it's not imagery, but there is a lot of water in the film. There's you under just a stream of water at one point, and I think I read a review where it mentioned about the water and kind of you constantly showering or wet or damp or something like that. And weirdly, in most films, water's about washing sins away, or you know, if someone's just murdered someone, they go to the shower and they sit and they cry. But you and the character, you could never do that. It always just felt like the water was almost like a punishment separate to you. Is it quite what's it like in the prison? It doesn't seem particularly it
was abundance in a sense where there was loads of it, but you couldn't drink it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It was like a trough. I'd say it was about as big as this table if this was squared off, and you'd be around it and it'd be like a pipe twice a day, filling it up, morning, night, and it'd be like so high, and then you get a little bowl and you'd be swilling yourself, and the whistle would go because you did 3 goals. Wow. Soap yourself off, 3 goals. You'd have this blue shirt, your fucking job's worth as well. You know, he wouldn't like give you like an extra wash or not. You know what I mean? Which you pays them, but you'd have to wash, swipe it, and then get it off again, and it's just march on. You know what I mean? I seen some fucking crazy things. I remember. I was that conditioned to the prison and the way it was. I'd been there for a couple of years by this time. And every morning there'd be a little hot water thing where it'd drip really, you know, for a coffee. I'd be a queue waiting for it. And this young Thai guy come running out of the office one morning. And he had HIV and he was all MCK'd and he was stabbing himself with this ice pick. It was going through his neck and his chest, the blood was skirting everywhere. And then he had took himself hostage. It was mad. He just took himself hostage like that because the guards were all surrounded, but they were like, "We're going near him. He's fucking definitely, you know, he's going to give us something there." And everyone, like, you know, looked at the drama and the commotion, and I was like, the first thought that entered my head was, "I can get some hot water." It was like
while all that was going on, you're like, "Thank fuck, I've got a diversion."
I was like,
Get a coffee.
While he's doing that, you're in the corner going, "Keep going."
I'm selling someone a barry bed. What?
Yeah.
Just straight this along.
I said no. I was great.
Yeah,
but you know, if that had happened, you know, obviously, what the fuck, you want to watch it. Look at that. It pass your time, you know. Obviously, it's it after it finished my coffee. But yeah, that's just how it became, you know. And there was a few foreigners in there who fucking lost it really in a big way. I mean, chewing on dustbin lids and just
was it quite a mix then? Because in the film, obviously, you're the only white guy in there. Was it?
Yeah, there was a lot of like there was like 300 different nationals in a prison for 20,000 inmates.
Wow!
But you're getting secluded, you know. And I got put in a block where there was no foreigners in the end because of the way I was behaving. I couldn't communicate and relate with the foreigners. Because it's just fucking arrogant, you know what I mean? There was a lot of Iranians, a lot of Iraqis, there was a lot of Africans, you know what I mean? They kind of the ones that fed you. It was like the Thais used to call our food the UN truck, and the Africans would come running through with the truck, right? And they'd all be running off the side of it.
Wow.
You know what I mean? Like banging on it. And then they'd get the big pots, and you'd all be waiting, and all the shit would be gone. Apart from like water with like a fucking carrot in it. What do you want, boy? Get away! Get away! I go, fucking chicken, man, what's going on?
Right.
What's the fucking chicken? Get away, man! And I was like, oh, these are twats, these.
That must have been really difficult.
You have to buy the chicken off them.
Right.
They take it all out and then sell it back to you.
Unbelievable.
This is the food that we got free.
Yeah.
Twice a day.
It's supposed to be given to you.
We got it twice a day, but everyone was in for a pound note. People would be selling medication, and the currency was stamps and cash. Stamps, the King's Head. It was a big thing. If you got a stamp with the King's Head on, you could, it was currency. So there was a lot of that going on.
Wow.
One of the most powerful parts of the movie for me was when they sort of pin you down and you're not sure what's going on. Like, it was very anxiety-driven scene. Like, you're like, fucking hell, they're going to kill him here. But then they pin you down, and then they pin another guy to the wall, and they rape him and make you watch it. You said you'd actually seen rapes before. I mean, how do you get over something like that? And what is it like during that time where you're just trying to fucking get through it?
I just buried my head with drugs.
Yeah.
That's all. That's how I got through. That's how I dealt with problems, was to suppress any feeling, any thoughts, because I couldn't process, like, the present. I had to kind of be in reality or a fantasy, and it was just, I couldn't be in the reality of it all. So that was how don't get me wrong, when I came back, I had to deal with all that trauma over a decade ago.
A lot of talking to people, I would imagine.
Yeah, talking to a lot of odd people as well, initially, because, when I went to Wandsworth prison and I was trying to explain to this psychotherapist, he pulls out a fucking pack of cards, right, started playing them with me, and I was like, mate, I've just been, how are you feeling? I don't fucking know, but I know what I'm thinking. You know what I mean? And I just, I had all this, I was paranoid, I was really submissive and very passive, and it was, I felt like a tourist in my own country when I landed back in the UK, and it was fucking hell. I changed my name to Yusuf Muhammad while I was in Thailand, right? It was for a bit of food. Got to a stage, paid all these debts, was in all these drugs had gone. I couldn't score drugs anymore, didn't want to score drugs anymore. I had enough about that way of life. I thought I'll have to face the fucking day here, you know what I mean? And I was walking around for weeks, no money, eating prison food, no visits. And these Muslims were eating this wonderful, like a table like this. You can imagine it. Just like a big wonderful spray of everything, you know what I mean? It was just full. Loads of different dishes, and I was just used to walk past every day, just looking at, really envious and jealous, like the hunger. The pangs were really fucking killing me. And one of them looked at me and said, "My friend, would you like to join us?" He didn't have to ask me twice. I fucking sat down with him. Right? He said, before we eat, we have to pray. I said, okay. He went, no, my friend, we pray like this. I said, alright, sounds, I'll pray any way you want me. And he went to him. He went, I enjoyed it, and it was like a joy to the heart, you know what I mean? And it filled my stomach. And I said to him, I'll come back tomorrow. But okay. My friend, only the Muslim brother come here. You are welcome today, but so forth. Muslim brother, shad. Got off, came back the next day with a sarong and a skull cap on. Sat there, she said, my name's Yusuf Muhammad. I was going to say Muhammad Ali, because that's the only fucking one I knew. So I said, Yusuf Muhammad. Never batted an eyelid, it was great. He just, okay, Yusuf, you join us. Now you have to do a shahada. I should do Allah illallah, I should do Muhammad Rasulullah, and Nabi Muhammad. So I had to do this, like, I had to speak. I had to do the shahada with them, and then I go for a Juma, and then I had to learn Arabic and go through the Quran. I was like, fucking hell, I only want a bit of food here.
Just for dinner.
But then he moved me into a cell. And I was praying 5 times a day. They would wake me up. To Fajr, like, Allah. I was like, fucking hell, this black's fucking gone a bit too far now, you know what I mean? They've moved me into a shell here, you know what I mean? I'm fucked. So,
because earlier on you're beating Muslims up.
Yeah.
And then now you're sitting in the cell praying 5 times a day.
So like that. Is this fucking worth it?
Yeah.
3 o'clock in the morning. 3 o'clock in the morning. You know what I mean? But then I had actually believed I was a Muslim, right? And that went on for like a year.
Were you actually spiritual in that time, do you think? Do you think it did help you?
I didn't use drugs, and I didn't. What I realised is, like, again, because the boxing team had moved from one prison, and they I had to leave that prison in the end and come to Bangkok. That collectively, as a unit, I needed support. And I used to say to them, ask questions, to say, because I'm a little bit closed-minded. She says, all this like Muslim gear and all that, you're blowing up people, and what's it all about with the backpacks, and why are you doing that? And because I had no insight.
And they obviously didn't see it that way.
No, they told me, they said, look, this is what it is. Billy, when we say assalamu alaikum, wa rahmatullah, alhamdulillah, it means you're our brother, no harm's going to come to you, you're a friend. I said, so what's all this jihad shit then? They went, jihad is like a fight within, the conflict that you got. These extremists and fundamentalists, they're not real, like they said, they're not real Muslims. So I started to kind of ask questions, and I observed, and they were really they're just like us. You know what I mean? There were no difference.
On a human level.
On a human level, it was just like us. They were kind and compassionate and understanding. They didn't want any violence. They had their own little... And I just thought, you know what? They're feeding me. Just anything to keep the engine room alive. Just survive. They knew. They said, they fucking knew. Bill, we know, but you're here. It's okay. You're part of us.
It was a bit of like...
It's only when they wanted to get me fucking foreskin chopped off by one of his mates.
In prison?
Yeah.
We've heard a few genital things in prison, but that sounds bad as well.
I thought, not that fucking far. Keep your chicken. Keep your chicken.
Keep your chicken. I'll keep your foreskin.
I'll keep my sausage. You keep the chicken.
It sounds like you had quite a positive experience there, though.
Yeah, that's it. It was.
Travel broadens the mind, Brian.
It was beautiful in the sense where I wasn't. The judgments I had. I've opened my eyes a little bit more, and I kind of become a little bit more elevated with the intellect of it all. I thought, okay, yeah, so I learned new stuff, and they're quite nice, and I left. And that was kind of the end of my sentence. Clean, going home. After 5 years of being in the country.
You were allowed back to the UK, weren't you?
Yeah.
Did you have to finish the sentence in the UK?
Yeah. I had 8 months in Wandsworth to do.
How did that feel?
It was March the 31st, 2010. They flew me back. 2 prison officers sitting next to me on a plane on a BA. And it was like 40 degrees in Thailand, and Bangkok was on fire. There was like a red and yellow share party going up. People were setting the city up on fire. It was all over the news. Flights were getting stopped. My flight got stopped 2 days before for never going to leave Thailand. You know what I mean? The airport was surrounded by like protesters and everything. Not for me, just for the government, the way they were handling stuff. And we flies into the UK, and it was freezing cold. You know what I mean? I got put in a cell, and I just slept on the floor. There's a bed there, and I didn't feel comfortable at all in that bed. I stayed on that floor for about 3 weeks with my legs wrapped around the pipes because it was that fucking cold. I was struggling with communicating with English. My English was like mixed with Thai because I wasn't put past the Thai. I was kind of fluent in Thai at that stage. So my English was broken with Thai, and because I was going cap instead of thank you, and fucking hell, I was going yes sir. No. You're in England now, Bill. But it was just that ingrained in me. It's awkward, and then you had stands in the dinner queue with a tray. There'd be chips and mushy peas and chicken legs, and then you'd hear these Cockney kids going, fucking cunts, fucking chips, man. I was like, fucking, only some chicken head or a fucking bit of snake or something over there, then talk about cold chips and mushy peas. This is fucking great, this.
Were you seen as a bit of a novelty in the prison then when you came back?
Yeah, it was, loads of questions getting asked. People were interested. It was unbelievable. You couldn't invent or conjure it up in your worst nightmares what you kind of witnessed and been subjected to. And I decided to write about it. It was like therapeutic for me. The catharsis in writing kind of helped me come to terms with because I could tell you, Lawrence, all day long ago, do you know what? Tell you this story, but you're not going to identify because you haven't shared that experience. So when people were asking me these questions in Wandsworth, and they were just looking at me like I was, what the fuck, what? So I felt isolated again, And I put it down on paper and I showed it to this young female teacher who worked in the education department, and she come back the next day, she went, oh my God, that's amazing. It was only one A4 piece of paper of a descriptive experience I've had. She said, you need to write more. You know what? She said, this is fucking amazing. You can write a book, you. And she encouraged me, and I sat in that cell for 8 months and I just wrote. And you know, I was reading, I was fucking sobbing at the stuff I'd been through, and it was healing, you know, like growing up as well as a backstory in the book. It was growing up, but you know, the freshest memories were the ones that I could like the easiest, and the rest is history. I went out and had it published, and within 6 months it became an international bestseller. How did that happen? You know what I mean, let's make a movie. How the fuck does this happen? Let's meet all these actors. You know, I'm just a crazy mixed up kid from a 2-bit town. I fucked up his whole life, used drugs, and had loads of shitty experiences, wonderful experiences as well, you know. And wrote about it. And people go to you, you know, you're inspiring and this. And, you know, when you feel like a fraud, think, like, look, I'm sure you could survive it. If you didn't fucking fight back, you just got on with it. You know, you went up and shook the, you know, I remember, I'd have to go up to the biggest, hardest motherfucker in there and just shook his dick. I went, what?
The bit that really struck me about was your adaptability, and nothing sort of shows adaptability more than the relationships you were building up in the prison. Yeah. And one of them was with Fame, who is that the real name?
No, it was John in the book. Just changed the name, didn't he?
Yeah.
To protect the identity of these ladyboys.
And so you get close with Fame, who also works in, I guess, the shop there, and who's selling cigarettes and those kind of things. You've been begging her for those. And then you get intimate with her because... Well,
that didn't happen, by the way.
Yeah. I read that. It didn't actually happen.
No, yeah. It was...
Yeah. So, but you had like a close friendship, yeah?
Because I read that. That's why I said you get intimate rather than...
Yeah, sexual.
Yeah. And obviously then it's portrayed differently in the film.
Why was it portrayed differently?
I was going to ask, why is there artistic license?
It was the director. He wanted to bring a bit more intimacy into it. He wanted, like, you said, look, Bill, this is like fucking barbaric, it's visual, it's violent, it's blood, sweat, tattoos, drugs. He said, intimacy. Let's bring you a little bit of closeness. How would you feel like? You know what? It's you're the director.
It worked, actually.
It did.
I think he was right.
Yeah.
At first, it was like, I was reading the script, I was like, oh, hang on a minute, everyone's going to...
My mates are going to see this.
Straight away, it felt... And then, you know what the fucking question that people ask me is, how much money did you make from this movie? And did you sleep with that fella with the tits? That's seriously, really? That question's being, you know, not by yourselves, but by other people. By people, like, a little bit more narrow-minded. The relationship with John in the prison at the time was one of, like, I'd been beaten and dragged down these steps, I was bruised, I was cut, I was fucked up really. Again, through actions and my own responsibilities, over drugs, the tramadol situation, I wanted drugs. You know, I had a pain, I had a fucking big scar on my stomach and everything. And she showed me a bit of understanding and compassion and closeness, you know what I mean? It's like Mickey Mouse on helium. Billy! You okay? But she was gorgeous as well. Proper, that lazy boy in that movie, like, shit you not, she is fucking amazing, you know what I mean? She's just a lovely person. And I say is she because whether she's a transgender or not, she's just a woman, you know what I mean? She's got all those feminine kind of qualities. And as an actress, she was amazing in the film. But yeah, it was you. Can you imagine sitting in a prison full of sweaty men, and then you've got this lady boy behind a cage because I've just been beaten up. I've been segregated for my own protection at the time. I got put on numbers in a sense. I mean, for a month, punishment. And having someone sitting next to you smelling a Chanel. You know what I mean? Or some kind of perfume and coconut oil and
making an effort with himself.
Yeah, and a little fan.
I do get it, like.
And then blowing in your ear.
Yeah.
I'm thinking, what the fuck? Well, I don't fancy, you know what I was like, I'm not into this. And then I thought my biggest fear here is falling in love with this fella.
Yeah. And
writing to my mum and telling I'm not coming back. It's me and John. Just the two of us.
Yeah.
But it was never like a sexual kind of, but it was very intimate in the way we communicated. But I'd still be filled with that shame if anyone looked and seen us.
Really?
Because of that male masculinity that we carry, and I'm just a mate, you know. But I think she got me through a lot as well.
How does it make you feel looking back on that? Do you still feel I don't mean sexual affection, but affection towards people like that? Like, do you feel any affection towards the people you were in prison with?
Yeah, I feel like the fact that they're poorly educated. I remember one guy coming up to me, and it was like the most fucking weirdest question you could ask someone, and he went, "Is Superman? Does he ever go to London?" And I went, "Well," he believed that Superman was real. He believed that all these Marvel characters were fucking real. You know what I mean? And he never had mental health. He was just fucking really believed, and I was like, "Believe Superman? You know, he very real." I was like, "It's just so." It's like they were really fucking like they had no knowledge of anything.
Naive people.
Yeah, very, very naive. Yeah. So yeah, I've got some like some feelings towards them in a sense of like, you know, it's fucking sad, really. It really is, because you know the conditions that they're in, it's fucking horrible. I mean, fucking literally, people with like no legs and they were blind in there, like, and wearing head guards, because I've seen it all. There's a kid in there, he had an head guard on called Gog, and he had this penis tattoos on his fucking forehead by these other Thai guys. He brutalised them and that, you know, because he was in for murdering his parents, and that's a big thing. You don't kill your fucking family, and well, you don't kill them anyway. Well, you do every day, don't you, in your head? But not literally. But you know, and he's beaten to fucking a pope, and you know, and there was a guy that got shot by the police, and he'd lost his fucking eyes, and he was walking around with a stick, and no one was helping him. And you know, then there was another guy who lost his legs, and he was on a little piece of wood with a wheel on it, pulling himself around on his arms. This is in the prison. It was like a city within a city, you know, and not everyone was fending for themselves, but they seemed to manage and get by. You with me? It was like we've got to survive somehow. But like I said, it is a shock to the system. So yeah, there's some
even Thailand, just generally, to me, is bizarre. Like that, some of the actual places in Thailand, I see like documentaries about them. Like that alone fucks me up. Let alone the prison there. Like it's just a weird place, isn't it?
Yeah,
but I can see why you'd be drawn there for the adventure. You come back. You're in England now. You got people offering you movie deals for this book that's gone to the top of the charts. You take it. But you said to me on the text message, you were like, something happened. People asking you how much money you got paid and all that. You said you had an issue. Yeah. What was the issue?
I was misled. I wasn't savvy in the industry. I had no agents. I had this story, this book, and I knocked at this door, and you know they refused to see me. You know, these producers, and I kept coming back. And I speak to the managers then, and you know the managers eventually said to, you know, we'll take this off you, and if you like it, we'll be in touch. It was just a local company in Liverpool, and 3 months later, they phoned me. So we need to sit down. I'm thinking, okay, a documentary, expose the book I've written that's only being published in Thailand at the moment, and get some kind of lights on it so we can get some sales. And they went, we want to make a fucking movie, a feature. And I was like, we do, you know what I mean? And then he started coming out with all these names, Charlie Hunnam and Jason Statham, which I'm fucking glad he did. Like, you know what I mean? He just want to chop everyone up.
Would have been a bit generous to you to cast as Jason.
Yeah, fucking hell. He's just typecast anyway, isn't he? But the likes of and then it's like I was like, fucking hell, this is weird. So they were asking, you know, the contract's getting signed. I said, I need an agent. He went, look, you can trust us, Scousers. Stick it together. I thought, all right, yeah. Not knowing it's a dog-eat-dog world. Got manipulated into signing a contract and reducing my fee because they told me that everyone else had reduced their fee so the movie could go ahead. But then I went to Paris with these other producers to talk about something about, just have a break really. And she told me what happened. No one had reduced their fee. And they had the full hit. So I had the lowest kind of fucking percentage of everyone. I mean, 1.5%, and it was ridiculous. You know, it's never going to be a big fucking amazing movie making millions of dollars like Mamma Mia or nothing like that. But you know, it was my life, it was my journey, it was my blood and my sweat and my tears and everything I put into it. Just dismissed. So you know, I had like loads of controversial disagreements, and I'm not like here to put them down and go, this is what it is. This is the industry. You know what I mean? I just learned a lesson.
It's not the first time I've heard that. Unfortunately, we had. Nick Yaris, who did A Fear of 13 on Netflix, he did 23 years on death row for a crime he didn't commit, and he said the same thing about the guys who made his movie as well.
Which is terrible because it's...
I think that's the industry, though. They see people like you come in and they think he won't understand what's going on here until it's too late.
That's exploitation.
Well, absolutely.
I was being like pressured, phone calls and pressured. They turn up at cafes, right, with documents, dotted lines.
Right.
You need to sign it. You know, and they manipulate the fact that they go, you know, if we've only got a couple of days and if these aren't signed, we won't be able to get the movie made. And,
often money up front is promised and stuff like that as well, isn't it?
Yeah, and so I signed. You know what I mean? I signed, and it, you know, I've got next to nothing really.
Are you proud of the story, the way it's told, though?
I'm proud of the story, the way it's sold. I love the director's artistic view on it. I love the character Joe Cole. He's a fucking amazing friend. The writer Jonathan Ashby, I get on well with him. The Liverpool firm, I can't fucking stand them. Mm-hmm. I swear, and I've never said this, but you know, out loud, but fucking wrongings. You know what I mean? The way they kind of like exploited me, and you know, and and saying to me when I found out, and I went up to them, I challenged them. I said, "Look, what's fucking going on here?" And he went, "Oh, what'll happen is when, because of this and this and this happened, and Nick didn't sign that, we will cover the costs." Never did. And that's just how it is. So I've been left in that. But you know what? I'm richer in life. You know, I do a lot in the community today. You know, I'm involved. I've got a brother who's got autism, and he's beautiful. You know, people say, "Oh, he suffers with autism." He doesn't. He's blessed with innocence. He's lovely. I've dismissed him for years. He's just been in my way. He's 40 years old, and he's just a loving, caring, like gentle giant.
When you say you dismissed him, do you mean like you just weren't aware of like how good of a thing you could have there? Yeah,
I dismissed his, you know, my phone was more important than my family. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. Fucking liking someone's dinner on Instagram was more important than me going, this is my brother.
We all do that, don't we?
Yeah, and I missed out. You know, give us 5 minutes and he'd be wanting to tell me about his day, and I'd give me 5 minutes, you know, in a minute, in an hour, in a day, in a couple of weeks, in a month, a few years later, it'd go like that, you know what I mean? And he'd be sitting there, and you know, it's only been recently the last 6 months where I've developed this relationship with him, and I've taken to this the Rotunda boxing club. It's an all-inclusive hub for kids with autism. You know, we're involving the whole community, you know, and I volunteer there every weekend. I've done it without fail, and he comes along. Now his confidence is like, you know, he's very controlling now. You know, he thinks he's a PT, right, and he comes out with a speech at the end of but he is a PT in my head, you know, and he does, he's fucking amazing. He's just fucking, do you love him in there? Yeah. I mean, you could not. I put a post on Twitter the other day. I said, my brother, he's praying at my dad's graveside, and it's his birthday, and he, you know, the relationship I had with my dad was very different from the relationship he had. It was a bit more, it was different, and he was saying he was the best dad in the world, and he said, you know, that's a video because it was so heartwarming, and I posted it, and it reached up to like 250,000 views within 2 days, and I was like, fucking, I can't even get fucking 20 likes on a smile, you know what I mean? But like, that just proved, you know, I had that day was really emotional. It was my dad's birthday, and it brings up all that stuff, and it's like, you know, it's okay to feel not okay and to be human, because I struggle to shed a tear in me. I don't know what it is. Something fucking emotionally blocks it, and I swallow it. You know, and I do it. I've been doing it through this podcast, throughout it. I push it down instead of like, because of that pride and that ego and the fear of being judged. Yeah, you know, it's okay.
You cry in the film.
Yeah.
Is that true that you cried in prison? Because I can't remember what it is that makes you cry, but you...
It was a letter off my dad.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
So it is a letter off your father.
Yeah.
And then, was that a real moment there?
Yeah, there was a real moment. The only thing that never happened was when, you know, the director said to me, "Is your father ever come to visit you when you were in prison?" I went, "No."
That's what I was going to ask you.
Yeah.
And
Is that the end?
That's the end.
You
Yeah.
played your dad, didn't
Yeah.
you? I worked that out.
Yeah, so. But the ironic kind of thing was my dad had died of cancer 2 years before.
Right.
And we were in the process of doing this film, you know. It doesn't happen overnight, you know, all that stuff, the producers, you know, all
Believe
that.
me, we know.
And I'd got diagnosed with cancer whilst I was on set. So I had
Fucking hell.
third stage non-Hodgkin's lymphoma. I had a tumour in my neck and a tumour in my abdomen. The director said, you know, beforehand, they call up, you know, would you play your father? And I was like, fucking hell, you know. And he said, if you were your father, what would you say to your son? He said, put yourself in your father's shoes. This young actor, Joe Cole, is coming towards you. He's done a character study on me. He knows exactly the feelings that's been going on about it. And I remember standing there at 5 o'clock in the morning, the last scene to be shot in the Philippines, in this prison in Cebu. And my dad, me being him, like, and I filled myself, I don't know, I couldn't even muster, all I wanted to say to my son was, I love you. That was all I ever wanted. No, didn't want money, postal orders, or any food, or just those 3 little words, you know, I love you. And I couldn't even bring myself to say that. And I was standing there and I was looking at this young actor, and it was like, I was picturing it. The director said, we don't need to say anything. You know, that's it. That visually is enough. You know what I mean? And that's how it ended.
It was very less is more. I think they nailed that.
Yeah.
It was perfect the way you didn't say anything, because it's sort of the way the whole movie had gone was, like I said at the start, you gave the audience respect that they're going to get this. They don't need to know every single thing about you as a person. They're going to learn that throughout it, and not having any words, I thought was brilliant.
Yeah.
You got the feeling that it all went on, life goes on, and
life did go on. Yeah.
Did you, when you, obviously because of the tumultuous relationship with your dad, how did you feel when you knew he passed away? Because you spent so much time in prison away from your family.
The last 10 years of his life, because I'd been released by this team, it was, I built up a relationship with him. It was quite fractured, but it was, I could see how loving and caring he was to his grandkids. He was quite different, you know. He never spoke about his problems. He never knew nothing about his past. He was my dad all his life, and I never knew nothing about him. He never told me anything. But I knew that through family members that he had his demons to deal with. And, you know, he stopped drinking for the last 4 years of his life, but wouldn't seek help or any therapy or talk to anyone. He just sat in his little room, put his bet on. My mum had left him. He never met anyone else. You know, and we all held his hand when he passed away. You know, that was the most loving, caring, you know, thing we could do, is be there as a family. And regardless of the shit he put us through, you know, just to tell him that he was loved when he did pass away. And he was. He was, you know, and he looked at me. And I can't explain it. It's like our eyes locked, right? It was just silence, our eyes locked. And it was the moments where I could see all the pain, shame, guilt through the years in his eyes. And he had to look away. And I remember, like, looking away and I'm blinking and I see he's just fucking cascading down my face. It was like, that was a moment. It was, and then, you know, he was gone. It was,
And did you say anything to him at that point?
I said, I've got to go. That was all. I couldn't.
Yeah.
I've got to go now. And that was it, you know what I mean? Because no matter what I said, you know, it's like he's going to be in denial. He's going to, like...
well, words weren't necessary, were
nah,
they? Really?
No.
Like in the movie?
Yeah, there's nothing to say. Mm-hmm. And that's exactly kind of how it felt. So, I could, in a sense, yeah, that's just brought that up then, really. That's probably how it felt back then, yeah.
It must be weird for your family to watch the film, because now it's been made into a film, it's almost cast as a bit of a success story. Do you know what I mean? You watch it and it's quite affirmative in the end. You've gone through a lot of struggle. But what got you there was a really hard painful life, but it's being portrayed in quite, not a heroic way, but obviously, it's held there as a film. How do you think your family feel about watching their son go through that? And like, you're a mum and...
Yeah, my mum found it really difficult. Obviously, she's the closest thing to me. I don't know. My brother said, "Did you sleep with that fella?" That's all he said.
Were you at the premiere watching it and everyone's watching it with you and you're like, I didn't do that bit?
No, they weren't there. I was all separate. I wouldn't fucking go with them. But maybe this is my brother. They didn't even ask me, ask me mum.
Yeah.
Phone's there. He never fucking slept with that fella, did he? Fucking hell. And I was like, shut up. You know what I mean? But yeah. Seems
like you're quite emotionally sort of, you've dealt with it.
Yeah, I believe I have. There's no nightmares or, it's acceptance. It's like just acceptance around how it's been, you know what I mean? So
I'm really quite, like, to be honest, it's really quite, not shocking, but like surprising, because obviously we've had people who've been in prison on the podcast before, and you always get this sort of sense of something sort of remaining with them from those days.
Yeah. Sometimes I just think it is, life goes on, we're not here forever. It's quite short. People think it's long, but in the blink of an eye it's gone. You know what I mean? Decades pass by, and we're not present in our own fucking body and observing what's going on with our families, then we're missing out. You know what I mean? It's like what John Lennon said, innit? Life is what passes you by when you're looking at something else. You know what I mean?
That's so perfect, isn't it?
Yeah.
I've only got 2 questions left.
Go for it.
Is that all right with you? You got
I made a lot of notes about the film. I just wanted to go through.
I like to ask this one sometimes, and it's ironic because you've actually made a movie about your life, but lots happened since the movie. A lot happened since the time period in the movie. Looking back at your life, what would be that halfway point now if you were to make the movie now? Because I feel like everyone's got that moment. And yours was, I guess, going to the prison in the movie, but everyone's got that moment that they look back at, that was the point where I just stopped becoming the real me, or that was the turning point. Is it still going to prison with that in Thailand? Is that still that moment for you?
The turning point was knowing that I had an understanding of addiction, and that it's like having a belly full of drugs and a head full of recovery, and knowing that was a way out, there was a better way of living. So every time I used, it was really uncomfortable. It was like, it wasn't the fucking shame anymore. The drugs, it's like there's that song, innit? The drugs don't work anymore.
You knew too much at that point.
I had too much knowledge, too much awareness, too much understanding, and I knew that the drugs weren't working. And that all I was doing was fucking just becoming a fucking zombie in life, you know what I mean? So yeah, it was like, there was a cliche, your using will never be the same. I used to go to these recovery meetings and they'd say to me, Bill, your using will never be the same once you've had a taste of this. And I go, yeah, all right, whatever. And then it's like reading the sign on a packet of cigarettes, innit? These fucking seriously cause your arm. You still smoke them, you know what I mean? But when I started taking it, it was like, yeah, fucking hell. It's not the same, you know what I mean? So the turning point was probably getting to that rehab years ago. The problem was not dealing with the emotional. Thinking getting clean was enough. And not dealing with all the trauma of growing up. And
not dealing with what caused you to want to use
the emotion, the emotional upheaval.
Yeah.
Just thinking, get clean, that's it. Fucking be grateful for that. Just anyway.
Wow.
I've got one more left if you're okay with that.
Yeah.
All right. How would you like to be remembered?
Would I like to be remembered? Yeah. I don't know.
You can take a minute.
Yeah.
It's quite a deep question, I think, but I like to ask people it.
Okay, you know what? Right. I'd like to be remembered as a guy that can inspire others to change and motivate themselves within their own mental health and develop. It's like, look, man, it's fucking, this is it. We've got one life and we live it. Don't worry about too much in the past. Don't focus on what's not here. I'm at a stage now where I've got nothing, but I've got everything.
I get that.
Yeah. I'm in the corridor, if you know what I mean. One door opens and another closes, and I'm stuck in the corridor. And I don't like being in the corridor sometimes because I don't know, it's quite dark. So sometimes I feel like I'm in the corridor of life, and I'm afraid to open that door because I don't know what's happening. And that's what I need. I think it's just about having that courage, just to go, walk through that, and what will be, will be. So that's probably the most inspiring thing I could think of.
It's been a pleasure, mate. Thanks a lot.
It's been really fascinating. I mean,
we should do this again.
Yeah,
I still feel like there's a lot there.
Yeah.
You've got another book coming out, obviously.
Yeah.
So you need to come back and promote that anyway. But for people who haven't, I've not read the book. The movie was
fantastic,
really immersive, incredible film.
So the movie's on Sky. Obviously, the book
Sky,
can be bought anywhere.
Amazon, and the movie is so worth it. And that comes from someone who watches a lot of films. We both watch a lot of films. Yeah. It's one of the best films I've seen in years.
Oh, this year for sure.
Amazing, yeah.
You're on social media. We'll put all that in the link in the description below. If everyone's enjoyed this podcast, make sure hit the like button, subscribe. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you later.